Hey, what's up everybody? Today's going to be a really fun video because we are designing and potentially winning our dream drum set. Now, I'm sure if you're like me, you've spent many hours just thinking about what drums you would get and what cymbals you would get and what hardware you would get if you had the money. And today is the day that you can do that and potentially win that dream drum set. The cool thing about this is Sweetwater does this thing every year called Win Your Wish List. And the whole idea is you go to Sweetwater's website, you put in the gear that you want up to $5,000, and then they end up choosing randomly a winner who gets their entire wish list. And so today I'm going to talk you through some of my choices if I were designing my dream $5,000 drum set, and hopefully it inspires you to go and design your own kit, have some fun for an hour, and just pick out your favorite drums, your favorite snare, your favorite cymbals, put it all on a wish list, and maybe you will be the one to win your kit. So let's get started. Let's win our wish list from Sweetwater. Let's go. Alright, so first thing we got to do here, I've got all my different wish lists, but we're going to create another list, and we're going to call this the $5,000 Dream Drum Set Wish List. Woo! Alright, so now I've got that wish list in my set of wish lists here. I'm always putting things on wish lists. Now, first off, $5,000 is a lot of money. You can get some really nice drums, some really nice cymbals. What we're going to do today is we're going to try and get everything. So that includes drums, cymbals, hardware, all of that. And so I'm going to talk you through those things. The first thing I would do is, of course, pick out my drum shells. So for me, my number one choice, if I had $5,000 for a drum set, and in general, my number one choice in Pros lineup is the Session Studio Select. Yes, I love Reference Pure, I love Reference. Masters Maple Gum, I would say, is my favorite drum shell. But when we're talking about being able to get everything for a drum set, the Session Studio Select is absolutely the sweet spot, especially if you're not rolling around in tons and tons of money. And so what we're going to do here is pick out one of the standard configurations. There's a 22, 10, 12, 14, 16, or a 20, 10, 12, 14, 16, and they also have a 24, 13, 16, 18. The cool thing about the Session Studio Select is it has the pro level hardware, has amazing birch mahogany shells, and it typically, like in the US, and oftentimes comes with a free floor tom. So compared to like the Masters Maple Complete series, or Masters Maple Reserve, or any of those other drum sets in a similar price category, this one I believe wins because it has all of those awesome pros of the super hoops and just the upgraded hardware. It's got the amazing birch mahogany shells, which just sound incredible, and then you also get the free floor tom here. So they actually just came out with a new finish, and honestly, if I was picking a finish right now, the two that are my favorite are the Black Halo Glitter, which is the one that I personally have, and then this new finish, which is a black satin ash. And I'm going to show you some video on screen of this kit from when I got to see it at Sweetwater's Gear Fest. But myself and Adam Tuminaro were just in love with this finish. It's so beautiful. I mean, look at this thing. It's so crazy. You see the wood grain. It's like a cool, like classy dark finish, but it's also not like over the top. It's like a really good, like cool finish that isn't too much for like, you could take this to like any gig. You could use it in any studio. I think it would work with almost any color scheme. And so that's what I love about this kit. So we're going to add that to our list. This one is still a pre-order. So $5,000 Dream Drum Set wish list. We're going to click on there, and that's been added. Now, Second most important on the list, I would say, is cymbals. Cymbals are something that you can't tune. You can't put better drum heads on it. You just have to deal with the cymbal sound that you have. And so that's one of the reasons that instead of getting a $4,000 drum set with a $5,000 budget, I would get a $2,000 drum set. So I have plenty of room for cymbals, considering still needing hardware and pedals and things like that. And so my recommendation, if you're going to get one cymbal pack from Zildjian, I love the K-Sweet pack. And so this comes with 15-inch hats, a 17-inch crash, a 19-inch crash, and a 21-inch ride. And so you've got your full 2 crashes, hats, and ride, all for $1379.95. We're going to put that on our wish list. So now we're sitting around $3,300. We still have about $1,700 to spend for the hardware and the odds and ends like a throne and kick pedal. Now, the hardware, that one is an interesting one. So if you had already had great cymbals or already had a great drum set and you just wanted to add things to it, you have a little more freedom. Or you could choose a little less costly of a kit. The Decade Maple from Pearl is an excellent example that'll save you like $1,000 for the Session Studio Select. And that kit sounds awesome with great tuning and great drum heads. I mean, it's really a stellar kit, especially for the price. But in this scenario, we chose the Session Studio Select and we chose the K-Sweets here, so we only have $1,700. Otherwise, I would say let's go get an Icon rack and get all these cool parts and build this crazy rack system. But instead, we're gonna get what we need to gig, to play in the studio, to set up our cymbals, to set up our drums. And so we're gonna look for a hardware pack, which is where you normally get the most bang for your buck because they put everything together for you, typically cymbal stands, sometimes even with a kick pedal. And in this case, you could choose the HWP 930 5-piece pack, which is $569, and that includes a kick drum pedal. That's double braced, so a little bit heavier, very sturdy, great stands. I love the 930 series, but they actually have a little bit more of a cost-effective pack with the new single braced. And so Pearl has this single braced hardware, and in this case I love it because it still feels almost as sturdy as their double braced stuff, but it's a lot less heavy. So for gigs and general use around the studio, it is nice. And so this pack also doesn't have the kick pedal in there, which is what I'm wanting because I want to pick out a different kick pedal than what comes with the 930 pack. So we're going to add this to our wish list. And then we still need a kick drum pedal. So you could save money here if you're not a double bass player and just get a single kick pedal. But I want a double kick pedal. It's my dream kit. I want a double kick pedal. Even though I don't use it all the time, I want to be able to use it and have it. So there's a lot of options here. The P932, it's called the Demonator. It's like the little brother to the Demon Drive, Demon Chain. That's a good pedal. If you were trying to save money to put it in a different category, that's one that I think would be a great choice. The Eliminator Redline series is absolutely awesome. Love those pedals. And I love the Demon Drive, Demon Chain pedals. But they are higher priced. And importantly, the single brace pack with the hi-hat stand, I love when my footboards match. And so they actually have the Eliminator Solo right here, Eliminator Solo Black, and the kick footboards on this are almost identical to the single braced hardware pack that we already added to the list. And so there's two options in the Eliminator Solo series. Basically, they took the Eliminator kick drum pedals and took away a lot of the options. So the Redline series has all these different cams and all these different things that you can switch out and change about it. This was like, hey, how can we make this pedal awesome, everything you need, but you don't have to have all the other options? Honestly, most of the time I pull my kick drum pedals right out of the box and use them the way they are. And the Eliminator Solo Black is the one that's for power. The red is for speed. So if you're like a metal drummer and you're used to like faster, less power kind of playing, then go for the red. If you want more power, like myself, go for the black. And so we're going to add these to the list. All right, so let's go take a look at our wish list and see where we're at price-wise. $4,127.90. So we have about $870 left to spend to get ourselves a throne, a snare drum stand, and we still need the tom arms because the Session Studio Select doesn't come with the tom arms. And so let's get our tom arms. All right, so Pearl has a few different options for tom arms. In this case, honestly, like I like their higher end tom arms, and if I wasn't trying to like fit a specific budget, I might go for the higher end stuff. But I like their TH70S tom arms just fine. They're sturdy, they last. Sometimes I even think that they are a little easier to use. You can't do as minute adjustments, but they have the gyro lock. So like as long as you're happy with like that kind of action, these are great, and they're a good bit less expensive. So we're going to add that to the list. So now we got one of those. We'll have to adjust the quantity. And then the other thing that we need is a clamp to attach it to the cymbal stand. So I'm going to search for Pearl clamp. Should be the ADP90 is what I'm looking for. 20, sorry, ADP 20. So this is the ADP 20. This is what I would add to my list because it just has one hole attached to the stand, one hole for the tom. You can get their almost like triangular one that has 3 attachments to it. And I'll show that one to you. And that's if you want to later add like a splash cymbal or something else to the kit. It is a good option. But in this case, we're going to do this. Add that to the list. All right, so let's go back to the wish list. Update our quantity, 2 of those, 2 of those. So now we can mount our toms to our cymbal stands. We have everything we need hardware-wise, except we do need one more cymbal stand because the cymbal pack comes with hi-hat and 2 cymbal stands. We need 3 because we have 4 cymbals. So we're going to go look for Pearl single cymbal. This should pull up the single braced hardware that matches. All right, so we got a straight stand or a boom stand. $4 difference in price. Definitely going to get the boom stand just in case I want it later on. So we're adding that to our list. All right, last thing we need is a throne. If you are young and you don't necessarily sit and play for hours and hours and hours and hours, you could save a little money in this department. But for me, it's my dream kit. I'm going to sit behind it all the time. I want a nice throne. And so I love the gas lift thrones that Pearl just came out with when they updated their Roadster line. So I'm going to get this right here. This is the Pearl Roadster multi-core gas lift drum throne. The circle. I like the triangle, like motorcycle seat, and I like the circle. Not really sure which one I like more, honestly. But I'm going to go with the circle. It's a little more normal, I guess. It's a funny statement. All right, so now go back to our wish list. And we have $4,595.68. At this point, that means we have $400 to get a snare drum, and or if you want to upgrade the drum heads. The heads that come on the kit, really great. They're not, you know, high-end drum heads, but they're great drum heads to start on the kit, and they sound really good. But upgrading the drum heads is always a big plus. So we're going to go look at Pearl snares. Pearl snare drum. All right, so tons of options in our $400 price range. The one that I wanted to point out and the one that I would choose if I was trying to get like a really, really versatile, long-lasting snare drum. Of course, you know, I might be a little bit biased, but my Igniter snare is a great option. 14 by 5, it's only $175. So then you definitely have room for drum heads and things of that nature. But oftentimes I like a 14 by 6.5, especially if I'm going to do a lot of recording and studio work. The Igniter is more like here's a great drum that sounds really good and it's going to make your drum set sound better if you don't have a bunch of high-end snares, especially at that price point. But this snare drum right here, this is a Pearl Sensitone Heritage Alloy snare drum. This is such a good snare drum for the price. So $320. Going to add it to our list. And now we're going to go look at our wish list. So we're at $4,915.63. So we have a little bit of wiggle room here. And like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can approach this. So if you already have a great set of drum shells, you could get cymbals, you could get a crazy rack, you could get higher end drum pedals or whatever. Like there's so many options here. I actually did a video previously that used the Decade Maple kit, and it was design a $5,000 drum studio. And so it was for like last year's Win Your Wish list. And so you can check out that video on my channel as well if you're interested in getting microphones and an interface and like creating a whole recording studio. But in this video, it's all about the drums. And so we've got an amazing kit. You've got amazing cymbals. We've got great hardware. We've got awesome pedals, awesome throne, killer snare drum. Let's get a few drum heads here, and we can call that a day. So I love Evans drum heads. I've tested Evans and Remo and Aquarian and Attack, and I did it all side by side, and I did a video on it. I ended up choosing Evans after testing everything for a long time. Their durability, tone is right there with everybody else. Awesome. But their innovation and their tunability. So like I think they're easier to tune. I think they're more innovative with the UV2s, which are the head I would recommend, especially for this kit. They sound phenomenal on the Session Studio Select. And then they also have a rewards program. So when you buy the drum heads, you then get rewards points, which allow you to then get more drum heads for free. So that's always a win. So we're actually going to look for Evans UV2. And we're going to add this right here. The pack, once again, saves you a little bit of money. Gets you the 10, 12, 16. Now all we need is the 14. There it is, the 14. Add that to our list. Now we can go look at our wish list. Boom. $4,998.61. I would say that is a success because this is an amazing kit with awesome hardware, awesome options all up and down here. This is a kit that you could sit behind and you could be really, 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 really happy with. I mean, this is a dream kit, and I think it's really cool that Sweetwater does this every year where you can dream up your favorite pieces of gear, what it is that you want, and put it all together into a wish list, and maybe you can win it. And so I hope that you go and check it out. I hope that you do your own research and just have a little fun dreaming, because at the end of the day, even if you don't win, it's not time wasted when you're thinking about things that you enjoy. It's kind of like buying a lottery ticket. No, I don't recommend buying a bunch of lottery tickets every single week. But when the jackpot gets really big, buying one lottery ticket and then just sitting around for a little while with your friends or your family and just like joking and talking about like, well, what if we won? What will we do? This is the same kind of thing. Maybe you win, maybe you don't, but it's fun. It's fun to dream about kits. And now that we've put together my $5,000 drum set wish list, I'm going to show you a few more things. So if you wanted to put more money into your drum shells, this right here is the Masters Maple Gum shell pack, which comes with a 20, 10, 12, 14. And I've played this exact drum setup. Phenomenal shells. I recently was at I was at Sweetwater, and I played on the Masters Maple Gum kit that Mike Mangini played on for some drum recordings, and these shells are incredible. So if I was going to put more money towards shells, these would be the ones that I would get. And if you notice there, they got that aluminum snare drum with it. which phenomenal sounding drum. If you wanted to save a little money on the drums and put more money elsewhere, this is the Decade Maple from Pearl. And let's see. Oh, I put in Masters. I was really confused there. Pearl, Decade Maple. All right. So, I love this. For less money than the session kit, you can get a 7-piece Decade Maple kit. And what that is an 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, which honestly, I think lately that's been my favorite go-to set of sizes, is an 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. The 2-inch difference between each drum really allows for awesome tuning, great tonal capabilities. Comes with a kick drum, which is a 22, and it comes with a snare drum. So at that point, for $1,300, you have all the drums you need. You can focus more on hardware, maybe a rack system, more cymbals, more cymbal stands, upgrading the drum heads. Like this kit with good Evans UV2 drum heads or G2s, or I like clear G2s on it. I like UV2s on it. I like the EC2s on it are really cool. This kit is killer. So that's another really awesome option there. If you are really concerned with your pedals, I have these in my studio, and I'm telling you, they're not the most affordable kick drum pedals on the market, but wow, are they good. Like the adjustability, the smoothness, the power behind these pedals. Like I had a bunch of Sweetwater sales engineers and drummers that have many, many years of experience all sit behind this kit, and so many of them were like, man, these pedals are insane. So that's another good option there. But another place to always dream is snare drums. You could like fill up a whole wish list for $5,000 with awesome snare drums. And so this one right here, the 6.5 by 14 Macaw Stavecraft, phenomenal drum. I would put that on my wish list in a heartbeat. And so that's actually a stave drum, which is a bunch of pieces all put together, glued, bonded, heated, all the different things to create a solid shell that used to be these different pieces. And it's just sounds so good. The Matt Halpern signature is really, really incredible, as well as Matt McGuire's new Pearl snare drum is really cool as well. It's got all these different, it's got like 30 air vents on it, so it has a little bit more of a drier tone. You get a lot of attack and a lot of just in-your-faceness about this snare drum. We actually tracked it with the Masters Maple Gum Kit in Studio A at Sweetwater, and it was me, David Raouf, Adam Tuminaro, Zach Grooves, and David Cola, and all of us loved the snare drum, thought it sounded so good. That's another option, and that's another good option in the lower price points, because $399 is not too bad, especially for how good the drum sounds. Let me see if there's another one on here that I would recommend highly. The Modern Utility line is a great way to get an affordable snare drum that sounds really good. They got a 14 by 8. They got a 14 by 6.5. They got a few different options there. The Session Studio Select series actually has matching snares as well, and the 14 by 6.5 slays. I mean, like if you can get the matching 14 by 6.5 for the Session Studio Select kit, that is a killer option. Another thing is if you have the budget and you were wanting to hand select your cymbals, I still love the K-Sweet line, but getting the 23-inch K-Sweet ride, I think that's even better than the 21. And then the 15-inch K-Sweet hats I think are a great right in between. I've had the 14s and I've had the 15s. I like them both a lot. Getting a little bit bigger crashes like a 20-inch and an 18 instead of a 17 and a 19, that's always a good move as well. It's just going to cost you more money if you don't go with the cymbal pack. So yeah, those are some of my inspirations for designing a dream drum set. That Session Studio Select in Black Satin Ash is a kit that I would sit behind and just be so happy every single day. I have a lot of nice kits and I played a lot of nice kits, so I'm sure some of you watching the video are like, this isn't really your dream kit. But like when I was a kid, as someone, if I'm not thinking about like the other kits that I played or the other kits that I've had, the Session Studio Select truly is like a dream kit. That's why I have my Black Halo Glitter kit, and like I can't get away from how much I love that kit. It's so beautiful, the finish is so cool, and it sounds so good. It's everything that you need, you know? Like, yes, you can get a higher end kit. If you see on the screen there, I've got my Reference Pure set up right now, but like the difference in price is like, that doesn't necessarily make it more of a dream kit. I love that kit. I love the Reference Pure kit, and I do think that like in best scenarios with best tuning on both and best drum heads on both, the Reference Pure can sound maybe a little bit better than the Session Studio Select, but I think the difference is so minimal that unless you have the money and really just want the Reference Pure kit, the Session Studio Select, in my opinion, is the better option and the better price point. So thank you so much for watching. Click the link and go sign up and fill out your Win Your Wish list. Because it would be so cool if one of you designed a drum set because of this video and then won that drum set. And if you do, you better tell me. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Play some drums.